Well, it's been a real roller coaster of late for stocks in China. The Shanghai Composite down almost 7% yesterday when we were talking to you at this time. Slightly better than that today. Rebounded, moved up a little bit. Some positive news on manufacturing came out overnight. And we're going to talk a little bit about China now with Guild Investment CEO Monty Guild, who's with us here in New York. And, you know, was recently in China, right?
That's right, Connell. I came back a few weeks ago.
Okay. So, and you've been there a number of times. Is that
Yes,
right?
sir, many times.
All right. So tell us what you observed this time around, because a lot of people I'm talking to say, oh, well, is China going to be the one to pull us out this time, you know, absent what's happening in the stock market? Or is the idea of what's happening in the stock market, you know, a sign of things to come here in the United States? But what did you observe in China that maybe surprised you?
Well, I thought construction would stop after the Olympics, but it continues to boom. New buildings, cranes everywhere, giant road projects, railroad projects.
That's got to be their stimulus money, right?
This is their stimulus money, and the confidence is very high. The people are polite but very, very self-confident.
About the future?
About the future of their nation, the GDP growing at 8% for the next 5 years.
So do you buy into that argument that China, as some have come on and told us, is the most important country in the world right now in terms of leading the global economy to some degree as the United States struggles to get out of the troubles that we've had?
Clearly, China has a big role to play because they want to take several hundred million people out of poverty and bring them into the middle class. So they're going to be doing a lot of spending on all kinds of goods and services all over the world, buying a lot of equipment from Europe, Japan, and the U.S., and spending their money buying companies all over the world.
What about the government there? I mean, does it make you uneasy at all, the way that things are handled in China, or are you comfortable with kind of the direction that they've been moving in?
Their culture is different, and it's run by engineers, so they're very efficient. But it is a little discomforting at first, but once you get used to it, you see the logic of it, and they clearly think for the long term.
What do you mean by that? It's discomforting at first, but once you get used to it, you see the logic.
Well, recently they said they might renege on commodities contracts where some of the government-owned businesses have lost money on commodities futures. That's the kind of thing that's discomforting because you wouldn't see that in a capitalist country.
Right.
But on the other hand, they are very capitalist in many, many ways.
Yeah, and they're certainly known, you know, for the products that are made in China and the exporting of those products, as many Asian countries are. But the big question about it for years has been, when can U.S. companies and others take advantage of the Chinese consumer? Are we getting close to that point?
Well, we're selling a lot of machine tools to them as they build out their infrastructure. And the Chinese consumer is spending a lot of money, but mainly on Chinese products made by Chinese companies. Export has fallen in importance in China, and infrastructure and consumer and finance are more important.
Is on the rise. Okay, Monty, thank you very much.